Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. My name is Man, and I am your coach for the Texan Clearbodies in season number 1 of the STL. This, my friends, is week number 9, in which we take on Darcy, aka Mayor of Pie, and his something Dittos. I cannot say the Canada province, but I'm going to pull it up on Skype anyway, and we're just going to read it off. It is Saskatchewan, or something to that effect. I don't know exactly. Ignore the Skype, by the way. But Saskatchewan, or something like that. Dittos. I can't say it right. Don't crucify me. I apologize. But regardless, we're here playing them Dittos and their coach, Darcy, aka Mayor of Pie, for week number 9 of the STL. And I recently looked at the docs for the STL, noticing that we have 2 weeks left in the league besides this week, so that's the thing to look forward to. We have this week, next week, and the week after that. So I'm believing that since this is the first week of April, right? Right. So if this is the first week of April, then we should be done with the league, or at least the regular season, by the end of April. So that's a thing to look forward to. So yeah, regardless, I'm going to stop rambling now. We're here for week number 9 of the STL, in which we take on the Saskatchewan Dittos and their coach, Mayor of Pie, aka Darcy. So the first portion of this video, just like every other one of the STL videos, is going to be the team builder portion. So without further ado, and since we've had enough of my rambling, let's go ahead and jump on to Pokemon Showdown, where we have our team for week number 9. So, just like every week, my draft as well as Mr. Darcy's draft, our drafts are on the right side of the screen, so you guys have a good idea or a better understanding of why I decided to bring what I decided to bring, and yeah. So the first thing we have on our team is our Charlotte, aka Galvantula, Focus Sash, Compound Eyes, carrying Volt Switch, Hidden Power Ice, Sticky Web, and Bug Buzz, with 168 speed, Timid Nature, max special attack, and 88 in defense. So here's the reason why. 1, Sticky Web, because duh, I need webs, because his team is really fast. Because if you look at his team, he has a Tapu Koko, which has base 130, which he could run Scarfed. He has a base 130 Aerodactyl. He's got base 97s and 96s and 95s in Mimikyu, Nidoking, and Haxorus. Mind you, my team can outspeed Haxorus, which is exactly what this is built to outspeed. The majority of my team is built to outspeed Haxorus, because Haxorus is the fastest Pokemon that my team, outside of our Mega Alakazam, has the ability to outspeed. So, well, other than that, and Minior, after the Shell Smash goes up, obviously. But even then, Minior can't outspeed the base 130s, because after Minior's shields go down, hits base 120, I can only outspeed them after my Shell Smash pops. So, that's the thing. So, we have Focus Sash, Compound Eyes with Volt Switch, Hidden Power Ice for things like the Haxorus and Nidoking, Sticky Web for webs in general, and then Bug Buzz is stab as well as super effective damage on the Weavile. And Volt Switch is just momentum's purposes. I thought about putting Thunder on the set, but I wanted momentum with this thing, so I put Volt Switch there instead, even though I know he has a Nidoking, but I have Hidden Power Ice to catch that Nidoking on the switch in case it predicts an electric type move. So, that's the thing. The 88 defense is just for me to deal with physically offensive Pokemon like the Weavile, like the Haxorus, like the potential physically offensive Nidoking, like his Aerodactyl, potentially, and U-turn Tapu Koko as well. So that's there for me to deal with that. Max special attack, because I want to hit as hard as I possibly can. And then 168 speed Timid Nature allows me to hit 323, which is 1 point higher than Jolly max speed Haxorus, which is the fastest thing I can outspeed before webs on his entire team, because the other half of his team is base 130s. And then base 97 is the fastest thing I can outspeed with my entire draft, potentially. Outside of scarves and things like that. Obviously, I will not outspeed a choice scarf Nidoking if he decides to bring that. I will not outspeed a choice scarf Weavile, but why would you bring that? So that's a thing. But yeah, so that's our Weavile, or our Galvantula. The next thing we have is our Mega Alakazam. Wise Guy with the Alakazite, starting off with Magic Guard, carrying Focus Blast, Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Hidden Power Ice. Now, the Shadow Ball was there for something on his team. Oh, Shadow Ball was there for the Delmise, which is his potential Rapid Spinner. Darcy actually does not have a Z-Captain. As you'll notice, there is nothing bolded on his draft because he went ahead a couple weeks ago, traded away his Z-Captain because he said he will never use Z moves. So he traded away his Z-Captain, but we didn't bring ours. So, whatever, right? So we have Focus Blast for the Weavile, and potentially other things as well, but the Weavile is all I can remember the Focus Blast was for. Shadow Ball for the Delmise, Psychic for everything else, and Hidden Power Ice for the Nidoking on the switch-in. So yeah. But Shadow Ball is there specifically for the Delmise because that's literally all I have to hit Delmise with on my entire team. So, fun times, right? So yeah. The next thing on our team... Oh, let me cover this investment. We have 236 speed, which allows Mega Alakazam to outspeed Max Speed Aerodactyl and Max Speed Tapu Koko by 1. Timid variants. Which is why... Or, I'm still running Modest, and that's why I need so much speed, because I'm running Modest. So yeah. This allows me to hit 395 after Mega Evolving, which allows me to outspeed Tapu Koko and Aerodactyl, as well as his entire team that is not enhanced by Dragonet's Haxorus, for example, or Choice Scarves. So then we have 228 special attack Modest, which is all the special attack I need before my damage rolls stop changing significantly. The damage rolls change by about 1%, but that's after I hit 236 special attack investment, and I was like, you know what? If the damage output on Weavile with Focus Blast is 94%, I'm fine with 94%. If it is worth saving 12 EVs, I'm fine with 94% damage because it dies anyway. Especially if I have rocks up, it dies anyway. So, that's a thing. 236 speed, like I said, allows me to outspeed Aerodactyl and everything else on his team that is not Choice Scarfed or Dragon Danced up. 36 special attack, or special defense, was for me to deal with something on his team that I cannot remember for the life of me right now. The 8 defense was for me to deal with Weavile and whatnot have you a little bit better. But I'm looking at it after the fact, and I probably should have put more in my defense. But it really didn't matter. The 36 special defense, I don't remember what that's for. 36 special defense, I put it in there for something. Oh, it was for me to deal with Tapu Koko better. It was for me to deal with Tapu Koko better, as well as a couple other things on his draft, potentially. Oh, you know what else? Nidoking. If it ends up being special Nidoking, it allows me to it helps me deal with Blastoise a little bit better as well, because he has Mega Blastoise, which is something I just remembered. So it allows me to help deal with his specially offensive Pokemon a little bit better as well. So that's a thing. So yeah. The next thing we have on our team is our Tapu Bulu, because if you look at my opponent's team, he has a massive grass type weakness. Massive grass type weakness. What was this to outspeed? Oh, I remember now. Okay, so my opponent has a massive grass type weakness in Mega Blastoise, the Mega Blastoise, and Aerodactyl at least, if not more. He also has the Delmise that I can whack with Mega Horn, which is what I have that there for. I have Earthquake for everything else on his team. Superpower was to catch the Magnezone on the switch out. Oh, Focus Blast was also for the Magnezone on the Mega Alakazam, by the way. But Earthquake is to catch the remainder of his team, and then in Grassy Surge, I pop a superpower and blow the Magnezone away, especially after rocks, because this damage output with 228 attack does 89% damage with superpower, so it does in fact kill any variant of Magnezone in or out of Grassy Surge. So we are running Grassy Seed, Grassy Surge again this week. We ran it last week in week 8. We are running Grassy Surge, Tapu Bulu with Grassy Seed again, because I want to be able to take a hit from the Weavile, as well as his Mega Blastoise, which I'm allowed to do with this set. And I also take a hit from the Magnezone because of my HP investment. We have 240 HP. We have 228 attack because that's all I need before damage rolls stop changing significantly or changing at all. They stop changing significantly because for me to go up to 252 attack, the damage output on the majority of Pokemon changes by point something of a percent in damage output. So we went with 228 adamant because I need to be adamant to get the kills, but 228 is all I need. So that's a thing. Mega Horn was to catch that thing. Earthquake kills Mega Horn was to catch the Delmise. That's another thing I have for that. Because it does like 49% max damage, 41% minimum damage. Earthquake for Nidoking, Earthquake for Magnezone, Earthquake for Mimikyu, Earthquake for Blastoise, because Blastoise takes a decent chunk of damage from Earthquake, unless it's like bulkier. And then Superpower is just there for things like Haxorus and the Magnezone. So, for special defense, because I didn't want to be 244 HP for some reason, I just didn't like the number, so I went with 240 HP and 4 special defense just to take a hit from the Magnezone by 0.3% better. And then 36 speed investment was actually there for me to outspeed non-speed invested modest Blastoise. Mega Blastoise hits the Blastoise's speed is 78. My speed is 75. As long as he doesn't invest, I have enough speed to outspeed him, and I also have enough speed to outspeed him if he tries to invest to counter my investment. If that makes sense. If he tries to put in like 8 speed EVs or something. If he decides to be like 244 HP or 248 HP and then 248 special attack or something. Some funky set where he tries to put 8 EVs in speed, I have enough to speed creep that by 1 because his speed hits 194 with 8 EVs. Without any investment hits 192. With 8 EVs in there it hits 194 and I hit 195 with my investment. So I speed creep that by 1 to click Horn Leech and blow it the fuck away. Or do at least 60-70% to it with my Horn Leech. So that's our set there. The next thing we have on our draft this week is a Yachi Berry intimidating Landorus Therian. We're running Yachi Berry again this week with the same set that we always run. Stealth Rocks for Stealth Rock purposes for the kills on Weavile, Delmise, and all those other things. U-Turn for Momentum's purposes and a super effective attack on Weavile. Earthquake to nuke pretty much his entire team, and a knockoff for the Delmise. We have 248 HP, 8 attack, Impish Nature with max special defense. Now, this max special defense actually allows us, and if you'll notice, if you remember in week 8, we ran something relatively similar in the fact that we ran, 136 HP, 112 attack, max special defense, Impish Nature. And what this is allowing me to do is this set allows me to take a Scald or an Ice Beam from a Mega Blastoise. It allows me to take an Ice Shard from a from a from a Weavile. It allows me to take a hit from a Weavile, even if the Weavile is not intimidated, which I did factor in potentially. And it also allows me to take a Scald from a modest max special attack Blastoise. It does 90%, mind you, but I can still take it from full HP. So this allows me to be a hard counter for the both of them. Yache Berry is to reduce a super effective Ice type attack. And yeah, Stealth Rock is there for Stealth Rock purposes. U-Turn is momentum purposes. And U-Turn is also there to catch the Weavile on the switch potentially. Earthquake kills the Magnezone. Earthquake kills the Nidoking. Earthquake kills the Blastoise depending on where it's sitting. Earthquake kills the Mimikyu if the disguise is busted. And yeah, Knockoff is super effective on the Mimikyu, and it's item removal, utility as well. So that's what we have there. Notice we are running 248 HP because we want to be an uneven HP number because we are a flying type Pokemon. 8 attack because that's all I could afford to put in there. But 8 attack still puts in a lot of work. And then max special defense just to be able to take the Scald and Ice Beam from the Mega Blastoise that is modest. So that's what we got running there. The next thing we have on our team this week is our Trojan Broom, the Shell Smash White Herb Minior, like every other week. Acrobatics, Shell Smash, Earthquake, and Stone Edge. 248 HP, max attack, Adamant Nature, and 8 speed. No real justification to the real set here. The simple standard set that we always run. 248 HP allows me to be uneven. Max attack, Adamant, because I want to hit as hard as I possibly can, and I'm not especially offensive Pokemon. 8 speed because that's all I have left as far as EVs are concerned. And we are running Acrobatics because that nukes pretty much everything. Shell Smash to pop my White Herb and pop my pop everything and be sweeping. Earthquake kills Magnezone. Earthquake kills Nidoking. Earthquake will kill Blastoise, especially if I'm at +2. But I want to set up as a late game sweeper. Earthquake kills the Magnezone. Earthquake kills the Nidoking. Earthquake kills the Mimikyu if the disguise busts itself. It will kill the Haxorus, probably, especially if I'm at +2. Acrobatics kills the Haxorus. And then Stone Edge is just there for the Aerodactyl, because Earthquake won't kill it, but Acrobatics probably puts in a lot of work for that as well. This Pokemon is designed to be a late game sweeper, probably the last 1v1 scenario or whatever have you. So, that's that. And the last Pokemon on our team is our Voltronix, returning this week with a Choice Scarf, Lightning Rod, in case he brings something on his team that has a whole bunch of electric type attacks, that I cannot remember off the top of my head. I don't remember what it is, but I don't think he brings it. If he bought it, then I'll remind you guys. If he didn't bring it, I don't remember. Y'all can see it, y'all would know. But it's to block an electric type attack from something on his draft. I don't remember what it is, because I didn't look very well at his draft after reviewing and whatnot have you. But Flamethrower is for the Delmise. Thunderbolt is just stab. Hidden Power Ice. And Thunderbolt's also super effective on the Blastoise. Hidden Power Ice is for the Haxorus, and Volt Switch is momentum purposes as well. I don't think he has an electric type attacker actually. But I think I bought Lightning Rod as part of like Volt Absorb kind of thing. So yeah, we have 192 speed Timid Nature, which allows us to outspeed the Haxorus again. 32 in both of our defenses so that we can take a hit on both sides, physically and specially. And then max special attack because that's kind of how we do things here. Where we have max special attack, so we can hit as hard as we possibly can. And the Choice Scarf allows me to outspeed any potential Choice Scarfers that are below the base 130 speed tier. Oh, I remember what Lightning Rod was for now. Lightning Rod is for his Tapu Koko. I remember what that is for now. In case he ends up being a Scarf Tapu Koko that scarfs himself into electric type attacks, I have Lightning Rod for that. I forgot what that was for a second. I apologize. Don't hate me. But yeah, that is the team we're rocking out with. Charlotte is our lead this week, like she is every time I bring her for the webs. Hopefully my opponent does not bring Domize. If he does, I can deal with it, but hopefully he doesn't bring the Domize, especially as a rapid spinner. Because if the Galvantula dies, then I don't know what I'm going to do, because I don't know. Because that's the only hazard control, or the only hazards I have besides Stealth Rocks. But if his Domize has rapid spin on it, then I don't know what to tell you. So, that is our team, of course. Let's get going with the battle. If you hear anything in the background, I do apologize. That is my brother. My mom likes to yell at him because he comes home late or whatever have you. So she's over there yelling at him and she's really loud. So if you can hear her, I apologize. Ignore that, please. This is what it means. This is what happens when you have a family to live with. So yeah. Let's go ahead and hop into, let me close this door. Let's go ahead and hop into this battle. I apologize. But my opponent brings the Weavile, he brings the Tapu Koko, he brings his Mega Blastoise, he bought his Delmize, he bought his Nidoking, and he bought his Mimikyu. Pretty much exactly what I expected him to bring. The Delmize is probably Assault Vest because that's how people run Delmize. As an adamant Assault Vest. Nidoking could be Choice Scarfed. I assume he was Choice Scarfed, but he was probably Sheer Force Life Orb, which actually allows him to do a lot more damage. Weavile, probably Choice Banded, probably Life Orb potentially. Koko could be Scarfed, since it's the fastest thing on his team, it could be Scarfed. I don't know what to tell you on that one. Mega Blastoise is Mega Blastoise, and Mimikyu is probably SD Life Orb Attacker, but yeah, let's go ahead and have at this battle. Again, I apologize that you can hear my parents potentially hear my brother yelling at my mom because they're talking from across the room. So I apologize for that. If you can hear it, I will try to make it so you can hear it, but you know, if you can, I apologize. If you can't, then ignore everything I'm saying. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into this battle. So yeah. Like I said in the team builder, my lead was Charlotte. For Sticky Webs, I kind of expected him to potentially lead the Nidoking, potentially lead the Delmize to Rapid Spin, which would have been really, really bad. Potentially even lead the Mimikyu to set up and sweep immediately. But I'm going to lead Charlotte. He's actually going to lead with his Mega Blastoise, which I was like, you knew I was going to lead Charlotte, right? You knew I was going to lead Galvantula, right? So what? I don't get. So he makes an aggressive switch on the first turn, predicting my electric type attack. He is actually going to switch out to Nidoking, as I'm going to put my webs up because he predicted my electric type attack. I'm like, alright, fine. I'm going to fire off Hidden Power Ice, and it does around 40% which is just about right for standard Nidoking. So that's a thing. So that's good. Hidden Power Ice is going to come off, and he's going to fire off his own Ice Beam. That does a lot of damage. And it leads me to believe that he's probably Choice Scarfed. But I don't know what he was. He may have been Choice Scarfed, he may not have been. He could have probably just been Sheer Force Life Orb, which is fine. So, I'm going to fire off a Hidden Power Ice again, and I'm going to sack off my Charlotte, because I didn't know what switch in I had to an Ice Beam, but I potentially could have switched into my Manectric to take the hit, but I don't know. It is what it is. So the Manectric drop, or the Galvantula dies, and at this point I go to my Mega Alakazam because I'm like, okay, let's do it. He's going to go into his Blastoise. I'm going to Mega Evolve in front of the Blastoise instead of the Nidoking. So I'm going to trace Torrent, fire off a Psychic, and it does absolutely nothing. Actually, it almost 2-hit KOs. I didn't look at that. It almost 2-hit KOs, which is probably somewhat of a defensive Blastoise, but not fully defensive, I don't believe. I could be wrong. But yeah, so I'm like, I don't want to have Torrent anymore, so I'm just going to switch out. Go into my Manectric, he's going to fire off his Mega Evolution, and he's going to fire for Dark Pulse, which is kind of what I figured he would do, potentially as well. Dark Pulse actually does a lot of damage, given that I have 32 special attack or special defense investment, but that is because of the fact that he has He has Mega Launcher, is probably modest as well. So right here, I predicted him to predict me to fire off an electric type attack because I figured you have a ground type. Why would I attack you with an electric type attack, potentially, considering that you might switch into it? So I actually click Hidden Power Ice here. He makes the prediction, and I catch the Nidoking on the switch in, which is exactly what I wanted Hidden Power Ice for on this Manectric. So I caught that on the switch in, which is good. He brings in his Tapu Koko, and I'm like, okay. But the webs are up in play. And this Tapu Koko, I found out after the fact, he is actually Choice Scarfed on his Tapu Koko, but because I put webs up and he does not potentially have webs removal, the sticky web negates the Choice Scarf as long as he does not rapid spin them away, or he can't rapid spin them away. I don't know what his Dhelmise has yet. But regardless of if he was Choice Scarf or not, he was still the fastest thing on my opponent's team that my team could not outspeed outside of Choice Scarfs. But I'm going to fire Hidden Power Ice. It does absolutely nothing to him because he resists it. There's Dazzling Gleam. My Choice Scarf is dead. Because, again, I didn't have a switch in there. I could probably have gone to my Minior, and probably should have. Now that I'm looking at it in hindsight, I probably should have. But I don't know how much Dazzling Gleam would have done. And at the time, I was like, this is probably the best play. But hindsight's 20/20. Manectric is going to drop. I go to Landorus, intimidate him, and force him out into his Blastoise and click Earthquake. Because I kind of didn't want him to live. So he actually preserves his Tapu Koko, brings his Blastoise in, and from the range that we're at, considering the damage output, I did 32% damage last time. He's sitting at 24%. I will kill with the next Earthquake, given that 32% is the standard roll. So I'm gonna fire off an Earthquake. Because of the webs, I outspeed him. Outside of the webs, I would not have outsped him. But he also had potentially Rapid Spin on this, but he didn't have Rapid Spin on this, or didn't get a chance to use it. But I don't think he bought Rapid Spin on this, because I don't know. I didn't think so. So because he has a Dhelmise, why would you put it on there? If you have a Dhelmise, why would you put it on Blastoise? You might. I don't know if you would, but you might. So regardless, this thing drops. The Blastoise dies, and I'm like, okay, good. Now my opponent here makes a nice clean play. Knowing that I'm going to click U-turn, he actually does not let me click U-turn before getting damage off. I clicked U-turn right here because I wanted to U-turn out, get the momentum, get an Intimidate and preserve it for his Mimikyu or this thing. But he clicks Ice Shard right here, as you see. He clicks Ice Shard right here, pops my Yachi Berry, and because he doesn't have an Intimidate drop in play, it still does about half of my life. Like, it does over half, well over half. Because I'm not physically defensive, I'm specially defensive, but I have a physically defensive boosting nature, but I'm naturally specially defensive because of the fact that I am max special defense for his Mega Blastoise. So, that still does a hell of a ton damage. So I'm going to U-turn out, do super effective damage on him, switch out into my Mega Alakazam, trace his pressure, apply pressure. He's going to click Ice Shard again. It still does a lot of damage to me, even considering that I have 88 special defense, I believe it was, on this set. So that still does a lot of damage, and that leads me to believe he is probably Choice Banded, which would make a lot of sense. So let's assume that Weavile is Choice Banded. I'm going to click Focus Blast. It's going to die. It doesn't really matter. It's already dead. So that thing's going to die. And his Tapu Koko is going to come back in, take a speed drop, put the Surge back up, and I'm going to click Psychic and knock that thing out. It was Choice Scarfed, but because of webs, I outspeed him, because I am designed to outspeed base 130s by 1 point, as long as they're not Choice Scarfs. But he was a Choice Scarf, but the webs negated the Choice Scarf, because Choice Scarf gives 1.5, which is a +1 stat boost, but the webs make a -1, so it negates it. So he's sitting at neutral because it goes from it goes from base to 1.5, which is +1 stage with the choice scarf. But with the sticky was in play, it goes from base 1 to 0.67, which is -1. So he would not have outsped me because I am designed to outspeed base 130s, just to outspeed the Tapu Koko and the Mimikyu, or the Aerodactyl, in case he brings them. And yeah, the webs negated his potential choice scarf sweep with this thing, because my Manectric had already died. I didn't have a Volt Absorber, but I did have a ground type Pokemon in Landorus left, so he couldn't really have choice scarfed himself into a flying type attack, or into an electric type attack. So I don't know, but regardless, the Mimikyu drops the whatchamacallit drops the what's it called? The Weavile drops and the Tapu Koko drops. And now I click Shadow Ball and it does 52% to a Dhelmise, which leads me to believe that was either Adamant Assault Vest or Physically Defensive Assault Vest. But he did tell me after the fact he is Assault Vest, which is why he lived the Shadow Ball. He's able to click off a Shadow Claw, and he is able to kill, because I didn't know at that time what to switch out into, but I could probably have switched into my Tapu Bulu at that point and been fine. I could have preserved differential, but I didn't. It's okay. It's not a big deal. So I go to my Tapu Bulu, or my Landorus now, and I click, as he switches out, I actually click Knock Off to get rid of the Assault Vest. But I pop the Mimikyu's Disguise, and I ejected his red card. I don't know why he was running red card on his Mimikyu. Probably just wanted a better favorable matchup. He probably wanted to force my Alakazam out with the red card, so he was gambling it. But I knocked off the red card, so it does not trigger because I knocked it off, and his Disguise popped when I knocked off as well. So that's a thing. So yeah, now I'm free to take a Shadow Sneak and click Earthquake, and that leads me to believe that that's probably a bulky Mimikyu because I didn't kill. It should have killed, but it didn't. So he's probably somewhat of a bulkier Mimikyu. So I'm going to switch out, preserving this differential a little bit, going to my Tapu Bulu. I wanted to preserve the differential a little bit because I was like, I want to win with higher than a +2 because I want a net increase in my differential given Week 8's -2 differential, which if you did not see that match, it is uploaded. It was uploaded earlier today, so check that one out. It is on the channel. It is included in the description, in the playlist of all of my STL matches up to this point. So yeah, and also if you're hearing any of these little dings, those are my phone. I apologize, but my freaking mic is powerful as shit. So yeah, so that's the thing. So yeah, I'm gonna preserve the differential, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the Shadow Sneak and take all 4% damage from him. Grassy Surge comes up, the Seed comes out. My Mega Horn misses the first time. He misses his Will-O-Wisp. So the Mega Horn missed the first time, and I clicked Mega Horn predicting his Dhelmise to come in. And the Mega Horn missed because it does have an 85% accuracy or something like that. The Will-O-Wisp missed, which is unfortunate. I do apologize for that. It is unfortunate. He is getting Grassy Surge recovery as we go. But I predicted the Dhelmise to come in. I was like, alright. So I'm going to get the Grassy Surge. He's going to get Grassy Surge. He's going to click Shadow Sneak again. I'm going to click Earthquake, and Earthquake does absolutely nothing. Why? Because Grassy Surge. The Grassy Turn, Grassy Surge in play. I didn't remember it until after it happened. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have clicked Earthquake, but oh well. So Shadow Sneak again. Grassy Surge recovery, yada yada yada. He's actually not going to click Shadow Sneak again. I'm just going to click Horn Leech and get my HP back. And now all that's left is his Dhelmise. The Rapid Spin is irrelevant at this point. I'm going to click Mega Horn, and it takes 2 hits because he's probably some sort of a physically defensive variant with Assault Vest, which is what I kind of expected him to be. And then the Anchor Shot comes out and does around 40%, but that's because of the because of the defense boost given by the Grassy Seed. I probably from his investment range, probably would have taken 50-55% from the anchor shot, maybe even 60%, which is what the calc says, to an adamant offensive variance, but I don't know. But regardless, the anchor shot does around 40%. Given that I am max HP to be able to deal with that, Grassy Surge comes out, Grassy Surge disappears, I click Mega Horn, and that is the game, because the Delmise drops. So, that is the game. GG to Mr. Darcy here. I do pick up a beautiful 3-0. Minior didn't come into the battle at all. If I wanted to play for differential, I probably would have been, looking at it now, in hindsight, I probably would have been able to play it for a 4-0. But we'd have to see at that point. And also, fun fact, his Delmise actually did not have Rapid Spin because he didn't think that Webs would be super detrimental to his team. So he didn't bring Rapid Spin or any form of hazard removal. So that's a thing to keep in mind. But with that being said, that is the end of week number 9 of the STL. We have 2 weeks left against a couple coaches, one of which I don't know, and then the other one is supposedly decent at playing. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, regardless, GG to Mr. Darcy. I hope you guys enjoyed that match. I know I enjoyed it somewhat. It had me thinking. It had me thinking a couple times, and I like it when matches get me to think. I probably could have preserved that for a 4-0, and I do apologize that I didn't. Because when I was against the Delmise Shadow Claw, I probably could have gone into my Tapu Bulu or my Landers even. Because at that point the Weavile was dead, so I could have preserved the 4-0. And I didn't. That's my own fault. But well. Oh well. We're still in a race for playoffs. We're +8. We'll see how things play out. Even if we don't make playoffs again, like I said before, even if we don't make playoffs, it is what it is. I think we performed really well, but that is the end of this week. We'll be back for week number 10 of the STL next week. But until then, though, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, because that helps a lot. And yeah, let me know what you guys think I should have done down below. That would have been potentially better for me to do. Other than the fact that I should have preserved my Alakazam for Tapu Bulu switch out. Other than that, let me know what I could have done to make my match a little bit better. As far as execution is concerned, or whatever have you, because I do like to learn. Learning is good, learning is nice, learning is fun. So yeah, regardless, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like I said before. If you have not already seen any of our STL battles up to this point, then be sure to check out the playlist, which is in the description down below. It has all of our STL battles up to this point already in there, so that's a thing. So yeah, until the next video though, this is your coach for the Texan Clearbodies. My name is Metagrossman, and until the next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye y'all.